Hey there, I'm Tam.
And I'm eternally mortal.
And this is the Hidden Egg Podcast, where we talk about vulnerability, and then struggle to say the words, apparently.
Who needs words?
Who needs words? All of us.
In this economy, words?
We need them.
I don't know, bro.
We need them so bad.
And here in Hidden Egg Season 2, we do the vulnerability of shows and stuff, where we react to content. And we've been on our erased kick.
Yes. Today is at least episode 3, maybe episode 4. We'll see how that works out.
We'll see
as we go.
We'll see. I tend to dig, so I don't know that we'll really be able to fit more than one episode in, but we'll see.
Maybe.
I just don't want to feel rushed, I guess.
Yeah, kind of. I get you there. But yeah, so I don't know if there's anything else to really say.
Oh hell yeah, there is. Okay.
Is there?
I want to know. What was this show? Okay,
what was the show about?
It's been like a week and like stuff's happened.
Okay, so our main character is Satoru.
Okay, right, Satoru. Okay,
and he was a 28-year-old, 28 or 29.
He was 29.
I don't remember. One of those.
He went
just before 30.
He was 29. He went back 18. He went back in time 18 years, and he's 10. So yeah, I understand the confusion.
He's 10 now.
I understand the confusion.
But well, I mean, he said 18 years at some point, and I think that's.
But it also clearly said he was 29 in the beginning.
So maybe he's 11.
Maybe he's 11.
Maybe he's 11. I don't know. Anyway, so he was a graphic artist, doing manga art, and he was like basically trying to get hired at a company, and they were like, nope, you're not digging deep enough. That was a thing, and then he had his day job as a pizza delivery person, and then we found out that he has this thing he calls revival, where a crystalline butterfly happens, and then the last some odd time repeats, and he's got to figure out what the thing is that's wrong so that he can fix it
and save someone's life. You typically save a child's life or something thereof. And also there was an event when he was young and his mother came, and there was some stuff and
then his mom was digging into some stuff that happened in his childhood when he had last said something to her about, something's wrong, we have to find the differences or whatever. And she started digging into the child abductions that have been happening around that time, and that they were also happening in the future present time. I don't know how to speak the time frames, but then the guy that was going to kidnap some little girl ended up coming around to stab Satoru's mom, and the end of the first episode was him running away from the cops because it was a shit show. And then he went back in time to be a 11-year-old boy, and he's kind of been focusing on trying to save this one girl that he knows dies.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the majority of the second episode. There were a lot of things that happened in there, and I urge listeners to go back and listen to that. But I don't know if there's really much more we need to go into
to
also start the episode.
Also, I agree. Make sure you check out the original content we're reacting to, the show Erased. It's on Netflix, we know. And so go check it out. And you can watch along with us if you'd like to. We'll do timestamps and boops and beeps to let you know where we're at, and I think that does catch everybody up.
Yes.
So, anything else you want to say?
I am good.
All right, here we go. Boop, boop. Timestamp.
Oh yeah, I always forget that.
4:32. 4:30.
Ish.
4:30. We just had the race between Satoru and
Hamada.
And Hamada is the ice hockey kid, and this whole school, 1989 ice hockey champions or whatever, like whatever. They've lauded the ice hockey team, and this is one of the champions. And Satoru just had a race against him, and lost that race
on purpose. He bowed out at the last fucking second. They were head to head through the entire race, and right at the end, he was like. He just hesitated. It would have been probably imperceptible to most people.
Yeah, But I knew that the people that knew him best were going to notice. The people that actually pay attention.
Well, we haven't gotten confirmation of that yet.
I've seen enough anime.
Yeah.
If you're watching along with us, you saw what's her name? I want to call her Hinata.
Yuki? No, Kayo. Here we go. It's
Kayo. Kayo, maybe.
Kayo.
One of those. But he is reassured of Yuki. Okay, yeah, Kayo, or whatever her name is. Definitely noticed. She had a face that showed it, and so did his best bud, the one that has been very observant this whole time with the kind of blondish hair. He definitely noticed as well, 100%. And I can't wait to see what this all means.
Sato?
Could be. I don't know. I don't know any of these people's names yet.
Yeah.
I haven't spent enough time with them yet to get their names just yet, but we'll see if we actually spend enough time.
No, it can't be because his name's Satoru, so that would be
too close.
Probably. Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Anyway, so I wanted to stop because like that it's a very well. First of all, like I would love to nerd out about time travel stories. Honestly,
yeah, because he had that whole thought of like, if I win, is this going to change the course of time? Is it okay for me to win?
Am I allowed to win?
Am I allowed to win? And like those are questions that we might have in everyday life, even without
fucking time travel. You think that was loud?
I mean, it was just noise. I was just letting it happen because, it was a sound.
I was just thirsty. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I thought it was funny because the sound of the glug, 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 glug. Yeah, even without like having to worry about time travel, I don't know about you, but I often ask myself, am I allowed to have this win, in some moments where I'm like, yeah, but like, what about other people who might have been working hard on this very same thing? What is that going to do to their self-esteem if I win? Like what's that going to cause in the future? Because we live through a time and we know a future is going to happen. So I'm constantly like, how is this going to impact the future? Am I allowed to make that decision? But he's in a unique position where like he knows there is a future that has happened. And he's like, am I allowed to change that future in this way?
Right. And to go along with what you were saying about how you have that feeling, like, I have that kind of to an nth degree. It's where, like, am I allowed to create art? Because I don't want to take away the opportunity. If there's a limited amount of art that is appreciated in the world because there's a limited amount of human attention, does that mean if I create something that I'm taking away from somebody else? And I take that to a very large degree. And he's got a very... The anime is structured, is constructed well because he has a person that he is 100% up against 1v1. And this kid is on the hockey team, is one of the superstars of the hockey team from what we've seen so far. And he is just about to win. He is millimeters away from winning and showing that he is the champion that he is. And Satoru looks at that whole interaction and decides what he wants to do and takes a very adult decision there to
because it doesn't matter to him, but this might be this kid's whole world.
Yeah, and also I think he's aware as an adult that if he beats this kid, that all of a sudden puts attention on him after this moment.
Unnecessary attention that he does not need, with his charge being to save somebody's life.
Right. He wants to figure out what's going on with Kayo, and to try and save her life if at all possible. And what's interesting is that this might be a bar between them, since she noticed.
I think that you could be right if he hadn't decided not to lie to her.
That's true. He did tell her that he puts on a face.
So this is a moment where it actually can bring them together if she, like she has so far, been blunt and pointed out, you did that on purpose. And he's like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, we'll see. There's so many freaking shows out there that, like, I want them to tell each other the truth and get past this conflict, because merely speaking each other's truth to each other would erase the conflict.
Yeah.
And if this anime is successful at doing that,
it doesn't erase all conflict.
No, but it erases a lot of the conflicts I've seen in anime.
Right.
And I'm sorry to say it, it's because some anime is not exactly the most deeply written content that's
Well,
out there.
Stories have a range of depth.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And I love me some good bubblegum action flick too. Like,
Right.
I'll watch me an Avengers movie too. So that's cool. But I'm interested to see where they continue to go with this, because we just finished the race. We had to say something about Satoru throwing it and making it very obvious this is not the sports anime I signed up for.
Did you sign up for it for a
No,
sports
of course
thing?
Not.
Come on.
Of course not. It's just funny.
We signed up for the butterflies.
It was just funny to say in the moment. I signed up for fucking time travel.
Yeah, the butterflies.
That's what. I guess that's good enough. Yeah. Sure.
Sure.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
We're good.
Okay. Boop. Boop.
So.
Timestamp
is 8 minutes.
First, I have to make up with her.
Well, a lot happened there. Like, first off, Hamada, I almost call him Hattori. Hamada was mad at Satoru.
Yeah.
Because he knew.
Yes.
He knew Satoru was going to win and bowed out.
Yep.
And he, was like, I hate guys like you.
Right, because he's the protagonist of my sports anime.
Right. Yeah, he's
Hamada stand for life.
What was that that volleyball one? The Haikyuu. Yeah. Yeah.
He's my Hinata.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a different story. This is not about the sports.
No.
Satoru is on a mission, and he realized in that moment, his memory came back. He said, "I made the same mistake again."
Yeah, he did, and that said something very specific. That means that 18 years ago, when he was doing this the first time, when presumably he didn't have a 29-year-old man in his head,
he still wasn't sure he was allowed to win.
Mm-hmm. And he still let that dude win. Mm-hmm. And he still got held accountable by that person he raced against, by Hamada.
And the funny thing is, when he said, I made the same mistake, that time it didn't sound the same as when he was like, am I allowed to win? Because the allowed to win was more of like, is this going to change the future? But
right.
Him saying, I made the same mistake sounded to me kind of like, I see that this is a character flaw of mine that I never knew existed. And this was a mistake for me to have made this choice. That's how possible. I see it.
It's possible. And he does seem pretty... Okay, so he immediately confessed it to Kaio.
Well, not immediately. He tried to play it off. Well, and then she was like, you said you were never going to lie to me. And he was like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're right, he did. He did say, oh, he was fast.
Right. Which isn't a lie, but it wasn't the truth either.
It was misleading, certainly.
Yeah. And she knew that.
Yeah, and she was like, you said you wouldn't lie. And he's like, sorry. Yeah, I just felt like he should win. And then she was like, it's fine, we're all liars and fakes. Right. And then walked away. And it's like, oh, shit. Fuck. And so, here we are. Okay, but he did he snuck into the teacher's office. Oh, yeah. He snuck into the teacher's office to try and find out her birthday, because she disappears sometime between March 1st and her birthday, because she never turned 11 or whatever.
She wouldn't tell him when her birthday was.
Right. He is 10. He's going to turn 11.
He is 10. He's going to turn 11. So I guess he was 28, almost about to turn 29. Well, I don't know. He could have actually turned 29.
Yeah, it could have been after March.
No, because he keeps saying 18 years.
It did say that he went back 18
Although I guess if you're generalizing, the year that you turn 11 could look like 18 years from when you're 29.
Right. Yes.
So it's just confusing to me is all. It's just...
It was like 18 years and 4 months, but
right.
Whatever.
Anyway.
So, I'm sorry, what was I saying?
I don't know.
God damn it.
The teacher thing.
Yeah, okay, so he broke into the teacher's office to try and find out her birthday, because he knew that she was going to be disappearing between March 1st and her birthday, and the teacher caught him, his teacher caught him and was like, what's up? Is this about Kaio?
Yeah, and they had a pretty normal, teacher-student
Kind of. Well, a little bit.
interaction.
Because,
sort of.
like, he said, is this about Kaio? And the adult within Satoru was like, this guy's sharp.
Yeah.
And so he immediately told the truth. He was like, I'm trying to find out her birthday. You know, because that's something a kid would do.
Right.
And so it's okay to say that.
Right. It's okay to say that. It's not okay to say why.
No, it is not okay to say why. He's like, so, and then he was like, oh, this is why she didn't tell you, because you share a birthday. And I at first was like, oh, that's cute, because like he invited her to his birthday party before he knew that she shared the same birthday, so it can't be that he was inviting her to make her feel
Right.
included,
Right.
which people hate being included because somebody wanted you to feel included.
Do they?
I think so.
Oh, I had a friend that for my graduation party, like they weren't getting a graduation party, and so I kind of like included. I wanted my party to be both of our parties.
Well, okay.
So I feel like
let me-
if people don't like being included, then maybe I messed up there.
I mean, first of all, it depends on how that person reacted to the situation, because every interaction.
I don't even think he showed up.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But you know, I think there's some people that would, if the choice was nothing or being included in someone else's, I think they'd probably be okay with being included in someone else's, especially if that other person was particularly kind and inclusive. But it really just depends, you know? Like, if he found out that it was her birthday and he was like, oh, you're not gonna have a birthday? Well, why don't you just come on over to mine and we can have we both our parties, yeah. He invited her to come before he even knew, and so it means more in a certain regard. Not that you can control that sort of thing. You shouldn't try. Just circumstantially,
Right.
it's interesting. And so there's that. But the teacher helped
Yeah.
in a very positive way, and the kid, well, the adult inside the kid, Satoru, was like, this dude is like my age and
Right.
really
His adult
aware.
age.
His adult age, and like really aware.
Really sharp.
And I'm like, oh, are you noticing, Satoru, that maybe you weren't living up to your full potential? Is that what's going on here?
Is that what?
Is that what's happening? Because like that's what it seems like to me is happening.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know that everybody is that sharp, even at 28, 29 years old. Like I think that's still a unique thing that you can notice about people.
But I think it's fucking hot. My God, being aware of shit like that's really attractive.
Just awareness.
That's
Awareness
really attractive
is hot.
to me. Yes, I'm a wisdom stand
That's
for
amazing.
life.
I love that. I think
Awareness is
I'm gonna feel the same. Yeah, because awareness is definitely hot. Self-awareness is sexy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Depends. There's certain ways it can be used, but for the most part,
Okay,
for the
I
most
guess
part.
there's some dark self-awareness that, like, if you're just self-flagellating, but I don't know that that's
there's-
true self-awareness.
There's some people that do like a real nihilistic self-awareness where it's like, yeah, I know I'm a piece of shit, but I don't really care.
Yeah, that's not self-awareness to me. But I accept that it is general self-awareness, but that's like diet self-awareness.
Sure.
Self-awareness light.
Self-awareness 0.
Yeah. Anyway, we're off topic. We should probably get going.
Oh yeah. Did we cover everything? What was the end? No.
I think.
No. We did not.
Oh.
Because the whole reason I wanted to pause. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay,
so sorry.
no, go ahead.
The whole reason I wanted to pause is because
He needs to
first
make it up to
I
her.
have to make it up to her. I have to make up with the relationship because he fucked it up. And the problem here is that he's not trying to fix the relationship because the relationship needs to be fixed, because there's a problem in the relationship. He's trying to fix the relationship for a very specific purpose,
Right.
to save her life.
Just to save her life.
So it's just a means to an end. This is not going to go well.
And from a certain adult standpoint, that feels like a better reason, but in a relationship, it's actually a worse reason, because
Right.
it's like, oh, you don't actually care about me, you care that I die, and that affects you.
Right. Yeah, and that's rough to say in that order, but the feeling exists. You know? The
Right.
feeling is very, very important. And these are children. These
Yeah.
are children that are on the cusp of fucking puberty. And so everything's going to be weird and awkward.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Good
think
things
that
to point out.
I just wanted to, to point that out.
Yeah.
Okay, you good? Anything else?
I'm good.
All right. Boop. Boop.
That was a sad boop. All right, we're at 12:40, and it was particularly rough. I started tearing up.
I hate that I always don't remember, always fail to remember to say check your content warnings on your media before you start. Make sure, but that was pretty traumatizing, especially if you've lived through something like that. I don't think either one of us have, but
Yeah, I'll make sure to put it on the description. Yeah. I laugh because it's
sometimes all you can do is laugh.
yeah. Laughter is not actually the opposite of crying. It's an alternative.
Sometimes a part of. Anyway, so yeah, we just saw that it's very obvious that Kao's being abused by her mother.
Yeah.
She was very obviously abused right there on screen for us to see.
I don't know if you noticed, but her mother shoved Satoru out of the way too.
Yep.
Which is what made her the obvious abuser, because why would she think that it was okay to just shove an unknown child that she's never met with such force that he lost his footing and slammed on the ground on his ass?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, I mean, she basically seems like she's on heroin at this point. Like, I don't understand the movements that she's making or being able to decide to do these sorts of things. It's
Intoxicated in some way.
Seems to be the
certainly.
I don't know if you know if that's the intent. Sometimes anime just makes truly evil characters that are hard to understand. But forcing Kaio to lie is rough.
Well, that's what they do, don't they? The ones that beat the victim always tell the victim to lie to people when they ask what happened.
I think I might start calling her Hinazaki. Because I think that's what her name is. Because every time the on-screen, I'm sorry, I'm being silly here. I'm distracting from the
coming up from air. Coming up for air. That's what Dr. K calls it. Come up for air.
Every time Satoru says, addresses Kaio, he says Hinazaki.
Hinazaki. Yeah.
And on the subtitles say Kaio. And it's like, that's not what he said.
Right.
He said Hinazaki.
Right.
So that doesn't make any sense.
I think that's culture. Because in our culture, we would call them by their first name.
Uh-huh.
And in their culture, they call them by their last name.
A lot, but not always.
Unless you're familiar with them.
Yeah.
When you get familiar with them, then you can get permission to use their first name.
Yeah, no, I just don't like it.
But yeah, I think it's just going to keep happening because it's a cultural thing, and nobody can really agree on how that should be translated.
Right.
But you can do whatever you want to do.
I was just being grumpy about it.
Okay, you can be grumpy about
because we just witnessed a pretty rough moment, and I'm trying to process.
And you're trying to process, and that's totally okay. That's actually a big part of vulnerability, is recognizing that sometimes things are too big to process, to not be a little goofy because you're processing and you need to come up for air.
Also, another tiny little note in this description that Netflix has for the episode. It spells Yuki's name Y-U-K-I. Well, Y-U-K-I apostrophe S because it's referring to his innocence.
Right, but in the subtitles, I think it's two U's.
Y-U-U-K-I.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, can we have consistency at least? Like, I don't know what's right and what's wrong.
Well, these descriptions are written by Netflix, and the subtitles were done by whatever publisher published it in English. So they were two separate
entities.
People. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
that's fine. But speaking of Yuki, we did get another scene with Yuki. A little bit more backstory on him. Apparently, in the future or in the present, I guess you could say, he's still alive on death row, awaiting final judgment.
Right.
Continually claiming innocence.
Claiming, yeah. They're continuously saying that he was innocent.
Yep.
And Satoru's like, I have to believe it. And he had like flashbacks of being questioned.
Yep. Because there were certain things to notice. because like he's like, as my 29-year-old self, I can notice his he's trying to confuse, camouflage his
He's trying
accent
to
or whatever.
yeah, he's trying to mask his accent, and to
Yeah.
a child, the accent that he's trying to take on sounds more mature.
Or sounds more friendly.
It specifically said more mature and wise. So like, and then the flashbacks and the questioning. I don't know if it ever actually goes into this, but I took that as sort of an adult understanding that the questions he was asked were wrong. Because yeah, he did sound mature and wise, because the dude was trying to mask his accent. It wasn't that he was actually a mastermind that was capable of doing the things. And they asked him if there was anything that made him uncomfortable in the room, and there was this moment where there was some like
adult manga
or whatever, and that is a normal thing to have. And as an adult,
a young 20-year-old,
as an adult, Satoru, I think, was noticing that there are these inconsistencies where these are normal things that don't point to anybody's guilt at all.
It sounds to me like they're being racist, but I might be jumping to conclusions here. But like, them asking if he sounded like a way that someone would sound if they were trying to conceal a specific accent means that like they're looking like that type of people just sucks, and it's okay for us to be shitty to them.
I took it to mean that like they were trying to assume that he was pretending to be dumber than he actually was, and was like secretly this mastermind that was behind all of these kidnappings.
Maybe.
But I don't know for sure.
So yeah, either complete police incompetence or possibly discrimination,
right,
as you get with cops.
Maybe a little bit of both as a treat.
Kind of. So I'm still kind of all ACAB. All cops are bad. Kind of in a camp.
Well, we know one that was a cop. I don't think he was bad. The Kung Fu one. But
he's not there now.
No, he's not there now. He got out.
Yep.
And
okay.
He would tell you that there are definitely quite a few of them that are bad. So, you know.
Well, the institution itself is pretty shit. Anyway, I think that's probably
good. We should probably circle back around and just address that, there was some definite triggering abuse things in there, and going forward we're going to probably be confronted with that more and more.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to say?
Nope. That's
right.
Boop. Boop. Okay, so we're at 1750. And the whole lunch money thing happened, and this girl right next to Satoru was all about blaming it on Kaio, and because she's poor and she's a thief and she's terrible, and Satoru just broke and was like, no matter how poor or hungry she is, she would never do that, even though it was technically found in her bag already. And he like just snapped at this girl, and this girl started crying like, oh my god, how could you do that? How could you yell at me?
Right. How could you stop me from just embarrassing someone for no fucking reason?
Yet this girl single-handedly turned the entire class against Kaio. Could you imagine how horrible that feels? You're pissed off little girl at one boy yelling at you? Imagine the whole fucking class.
Right.
Boy, those kinds of people piss me off. That they get so butthurt when one person yells at them, and yet they are the quickest to instigate a mob against someone else.
Yep. I hate it. Hate it so much. It's very frustrating.
So triggering.
Did anything else happen?
Yeah, there was the teacher thing. Again.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Apparently they did notice, like the teacher noticed that there was abuse going on and has been going through the proper channels to get it taken care of.
And the mother has been very evasive.
Yeah, she's somehow noticed them coming and pops out with Kaio. Am I saying the name right?
I have no idea.
I forget. Whatever.
Hinazuki is
Hinazuki. Fine. And so they haven't been, and they've done it 3 times and haven't been able to actually catch her at the house.
Right.
And yeah, that's real.
Yeah, there's absolutely abusive parents out there. that
are
for
clever.
some reason need to actively abuse their children to feel like they're allowed to live. I again think it's probably substance abuse.
We forgot because right after we unpaused, we got this wonderful, amazing scene of the mom actually abusing her by shoving her face into freezing cold water so that the bruising didn't
show up too
bad.
Because then everyone will blame me.
Everyone will blame me.
It's like, my fucking God. It's like, you did it.
And
don't
like
you deserve the blame?
The one thing, like the thing that started the conversation with the teacher was that Satoru, the teacher was asking Satoru, like, you've asked me why she's often late on Monday, or sometimes doesn't even show up on Mondays. Have you figured out why? And Satoru was like, yeah, it's because her mother beats her on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
That was just like one of those, like the line was just smooth and cool and calculating. That line just like struck through my heart.
Yeah, there was a lot, and there's a lot going on between that interaction between Satoru and his teacher, because like, you know, after a 10-year-old child said very smoothly and without emotion because her mother beats her on Saturday, like an adult would, then the teacher came right back and was like, so you've noticed. Right.
So
you've noticed.
Which, honestly, it was a little weird, but never, like, that weirdness didn't get mentioned. Possibly because Satoru is too focused on saving...
Yeah, maybe.
Saving her, and so...
Also, Satoru doesn't really feel like the official channels are going to work fast enough. You can really tell that he's got a frustration associated with it. And so this additional insult on top of everything to Hinazaki is just too much. And so he broke. But all he did was punch his desk and say, no, she would never do that.
Right.
He didn't say, you're a lying, stupid fucking cunt and deserve to die.
Right. He didn't actually blame this chick for anything. He was just like, stop it. It's not her.
Right.
And that was really about it.
And his buddy, the smart one, spoke up and said anyone could have planted that.
Right.
Anyone could have taken it out of Satoru's desk and planted it in Hinazaki's bag. Easy peasy. And she didn't, like, freak out either. She just...
No, because it looks like
she just eventually got around to looking in her bag because she's been fucking dazed this whole time, barely aware of what's going on around her. When she finally got around to opening up her bag and looking in it, she saw it, pulled it out, and said, I found it. And that was all she said. And she didn't react to...
anything.
All of the people in class calling her poor and saying she's a thief and all this other shit. She didn't react to any of that at all. But when Satoru broke, she reacted to that.
That's the mark. Like, you can tell. You can tell who's been abused because they don't react.
You don't give a shit about you giving them, calling them names.
Because what is that compared to what her mom's going to do every Saturday?
Right, exactly. So who fucking cares? Call me what you want.
Right. I know who I am. I know I didn't do it, and I know that you don't fucking care whether I did it or not. You're still going to blame me, so whatever. Your words mean nothing to me.
Right, and she expects it from everybody, which is why she was completely stunned out of her stupor.
Right, when he was like, she would never do that, and somebody defended her.
Right.
Because she's not used to anyone defending her.
Mm-mm. No. So yeah, it was an important moment.
Yeah.
Okay, ready to get back to it?
Yep.
All right. Boop. Boop.
All right. No timestamp. We finished the episode.
Including the end credits, which are kind of existential. Like, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there is. I don't know how much of it even relates to what happens.
I don't either, yeah. But I was trying to get a sense of Satoru again while listening to it. Because, like, we're seeing him from kind of two different perspectives at the same time, to an extent.
Yeah.
But there was the perspective of him that existed the first time. That was just him. It was not a 29-year-old living in his body at the same time. He just actually referenced a time when he went up and the red foxes ran around him alone.
And nobody believed him.
But
he invited Kaio to come with him this time, remembering that this was going to happen. And they got to share that moment together.
Yeah, he got to take someone that was suffering and show them one of those just
once in a lifetime
amazing
moments.
Coincidental moments.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing that they ever happen at all. is like that you ever get to share that with somebody at all. But he actually got the opportunity to make it happen, knowing that it was going to happen, and choosing her to take with him. And no one, like, she'll never know that that was a choice that he could make to bring whoever he wanted on that journey with him to see those red foxes.
Right.
He could have brought everyone with him so that he didn't have to go through that whole nobody believing him thing. All of his friends could have been in that moment.
Presumably the foxes probably wouldn't have shown up if there were too many people.
Maybe.
Like, you know, they're still
but
wild animals.
he could have tried.
He could have.
And she'll never know that he chose her to take with him. But he will know.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, maybe at some point he'll be like, hey, by the way, just so you know, I went back in time 18 years and I'm actually 29 years old. That would probably go really well.
I think that might sound a little creepy.
Sure. But yeah, it was amazing. It brought fucking tears to my eyes to see it because she, my God, this fucking little girl is a champion. She's like my fucking hero at this point because
she's had a life of suffering.
This is, as far as I know, the same Monday that she came back and she was completely all fucked up and like not paying attention to anything until the lunch money debacle. Which, by the way, the teacher becoming one of my favorite characters in this anime.
He quickly diffused the situation by saying, you know, Kaio was actually they were both on the committee
on duty
to collect the money, so it's actually not weird at all that she has it.
Since
end of discussion, let's move on.
We're done here. And yeah, it's perfect. I love how we keep pausing right before the situation gets completely resolved, usually by that teacher.
Right.
But yeah, they're cleaning up together, her and him, Hinazaki and Satoru, and like I don't know if she said something or he said something, but it was like he said that it was uncalled for what she said, and what the bitch said, and Hinazaki was like, in like third grade, she was making fun of my pencils, and so I threw away her fancy mechanical pencil, and she's hated me ever since, and so I just hate her back.
Right,
and I'm like, God damn.
So much like that. Like, that's the one part where she actually seems like a child. But at one moment.
Same time, just to have the strength to still be a child like that after everything that she's going through at home. Yeah. Like, it's, first of all, it's tragic that she is so accustomed to it that she can just kind of relax into it like that. But also, like, the sheer strength necessary is amazing. I don't
think that it's a strength. I think that she's always that child inside. The strength is to show that she is still that child inside. You know? It's not the fact that she is a child that is strong, because that's just a fact. She is a child. The mask she puts, the fakeness that she puts on the outside, is because she's being abused by everyone around her in some way, and especially at home. She has no safe place to allow herself the vulnerability of being a child.
Right.
And so in that moment, the strength wasn't that she could still be a child. It was that she could show that child's self to another person.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then, you know, he was like, I'm going to go take you somewhere. This is going to be awesome. And so they went and saw the foxes.
Right.
And it's super cute.
And then saw the tree.
A Christmas tree.
Which was, it wasn't a Christmas tree. It was a deciduous tree with icicles, which is very dangerous to be standing under. I'm just saying.
Sure, and there was also a lot of like colorful stars kind of behind it.
And it was really beautiful.
It made a really colorful, shiny tree that I understand why he called it a Christmas tree, and it's cute.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we should come back in summer and check it out. Actually, he said to her, we should come back in summer and check it out. Doing one of those things that people do when you're trying to save their life and implying a future.
Right, and she was really happy about it. Like, she blushed.
She did. She's really enjoying the positive attention.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled for that. She could have been very just like not able to be recovered. And I shipped the crap out of them, if I'm being honest. Not in a creepy way. They're children, but like they're real cute. Go ahead.
This episode's gone on for 40 minutes. I'm having a feeling we're probably not going to do a second today.
No, I don't think we're gonna do a second.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm too verbose. I'm too windy.
We just analyze things. We see the things, and there's so much to see in this one. Like when if maybe if we do the irregular at Magic High School, there may be fewer because it's not as deep as this one. So maybe we can get through it without because there won't be as much to pick out. But maybe not.
Maybe not.
We'll still pick things out.
Absolutely,
We just see stuff.
All of human existence resides within every aspect of human existence.
Yeah.
Everything is the infinite.
Even the superficial shit has a lot to it that you can look at and like point at and be like, this is why it's superficial. This is what it's actually hiding. There are real depths in this that they are hiding from you that they don't want to go to. But it's okay if you don't want to. But like, we're going to show you where it's at. So
right. There's also depths that the writer will take you to. Actually, that you won't go along with it. That the writer will just be desperately hoping and wishing that one amongst all of the people that read their work will understand this one thing that they desperately wanted to get across. And like that happens all the time. Like communicating through writing.
Which is storytelling.
Yeah.
Generally. Yeah, it's nuanced, and there's a lot to pick apart there. There's a lot of vulnerability in every story.
I agree. So I think we're probably good to leave it there-ish.
Yep, I think so.
Anything else you want to say? I'll kind of do a little bit of an outro real quick.
I think that's about it, besides outroing.
Okay. Well, thanks again, everyone, for coming along with us. If you're listening to these words right now, that means you've been hanging out with us through probably a lot of these episodes that we're just reacting to shit. And so thank you. We really appreciate that. That's pretty awesome of you. I hope you've been enjoying it. Hope you've been enjoying the original content as well. I'm Eternally Mortal, and I hope you find smiles this day.
And I'm Tam. You can find us both. I'm the Accidental Monster, and he's the Eternally Mortal on Medium. You can also go to monsteralley.com or tommonsteralley.com. I'm not sure which one I need to promote at this point. I'll figure it out someday. And follow yourself, always.